Hello, hello.
Yo,
Hello.
what's up?
Good evening, guys.
Evening.
Welcome to all. Thank you, everyone, for joining here. We just started live. Um, First of all, my name is Azri, and I'm with my friend Juju, who's here right now. Hi, Juju.
Hi.
Hello. We are here
Hi.
Hi,
with
Juju.
Hi.
Hi, Juju, what's up?
tonight. It's
Sorry for
gonna be a
the
very fun
technical
night.
error.
It's okay. Would you like to take over?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Hi, Assalamualaikum, and a very good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight in our santai-santai session of student Tanya, alumni Jawab. Okay, and our
Yeah.
topic for topic for this evening is the founder's journey. Okay, so before we get started, Zura just now share with you guys about our program. What is it about? Okay, so this program is actually an initiative uh, by FCM lah to share with everyone about the career prospects, the campus life, the knowledge. And there will be many interesting stories from our alumni. Okay, so before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Zura, or lebih mesra dipanggil Juju.
Hi,
And my friend here
Juju.
is
Juju.
Hi. Yeah. And
Hello.
next to me is
It's me, Azri. Let's
Hi,
go.
Azri.
Yo, Mr.
Yeah,
okay,
it's coming home.
and we will be your moderators for tonight. Okay, so together with us, as you can see, there are two handsome and respectable alumni here.
Oh, no, best is
Um,
the answer.
yeah, the first one,
Sorry, go ahead, Ju.
yes, the first one, let's give it up to Mr. John Basri from Bachelor of Multimedia in Interface Design, class of 2008. Okay, so maybe some of you here might have seen him in the Shopee ad before,
Hey.
or maybe recently. if you guys
That song. Remember the
yes,
song.
yes, the song. It's a very famous song now. Okay, and our second alumni, which is bersebelahan dengan Mr. John Basri, okay, is Mr. Zikry Kholil, which
Eh,
from Bachelor, sini, ke
sana.
atas. Yeah, which he graduated. He's from Bachelor of Multimedia in Virtual Reality, also from class of 2008. Okay, so
Thank you.
astounding
Yeah.
as he is, he was listed as Forbes 30 under 30 Asia in 2016 and also voted as Malaysia's most innovative Young Leaders Award of
Oh, man.
2016. Wow.
That's
So
good.
Azri, brief introduction pun dah wow sangat kan. So
Woof.
I would like for our panelists to further introduce themselves, okay? And why don't we go first with you, Zik?
Thank you so much, Juju, for the introduction, and thank you so much for having us too.
Yeah.
Two notorious bachelors once upon a time in MMU days. My name is Zikry Kholil, Malaysian, proud to be MMU alumni. Have always been advocating for MMU since the day I left MMU. I live in Kuala Lumpur. I have a company called Incitement, where we help connect brands and nonprofits in the intersection of technology and sustainability. We help run projects in 67 countries. Last year alone, we managed to help 500 various nonprofits to get funded. And moving forward in this much more challenging time, we're looking forward for more ways to help as many as we can. I've been in Malaysia for 10 years now. Since I left MMU, had a good life doing my master's in Then moved to Jordan for
Why you sound sad, Zeke?
Why am I so sad? Because I get to see your
Yeah.
face.
This is only just the beginning, everyone. Be
Yeah.
prepared for more.
Continue.
There's more. So yeah, so I'm actually very excited to be here. I've been looking forward to it because it's such a coincidence to be able to do this with a very close friend of mine, Jean Basri.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, it's been 12, 13 years since we've been super tight. But it's again, I couldn't thank enough to FCM for having us in this. So that's pretty much about me. Not much to say. If there's anything more, you can just Google us or Google my name. You'll find all the things over there. Today is about us. So I would love to talk more about answer your questions and make this session a very wonderful session, or even a roasting session, because I see all the comments are going nuts. So that's pretty much it, Juju. Back to you, Juju.
Okay, so siapa-siapa nak tahu more about Zik, you guys can just Google his name, Zikry Kholil on Google. Okay, and
Really?
you'll get like
And John
tons
Basri.
of information.
And Jean Basri Longhead.
And next we'll go with Jean Basri.
Hello, hi guys. My name is John Basri.
Hi.
I'm half
Hello,
French, half
hello.
Malay, hence the name. I'm a creative director for Ulala Studio, Sendirian Berhad. We are a small creative agency based in Petaling Jaya. We do 3D, 2D animation, social media marketing, and the latest one, because of the pandemic, we previously do a bit of production, a real life shooting, but then because of this pandemic, we turn into because we have already all the equipment and now, so we turn the events into the virtual events. So you can check it out at ulalastudio.my. That's our website. And yeah, a little bit of me, some of my friends, my close friend in MMU, and also I think most of MMU's alumni know me as Bayi in MMU. So yeah.
So cute.
Okay. So Juju tengok here, Azri macam dah berkobar-kobar nak tanya soalan. So
Whoosh.
Azri boleh?
I'll take the floor from here. Thank you,
Go.
Juju. Yeah. Kita kena tenang-tenang malam ni. It's coming home, yeah, everyone. Later tonight, it's coming home.
No.
Oh my god, dah habis.
So,
Bagi Chan lah, England dah on lah Zik.
Okay lah, okay. 3 o'clock.
once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
So let us begin this Q&A session with Mr. JB. So the question goes to you. What intrigues you to further your studies in FCM? Did you have any particular reason for choosing MMU?
Oh, MMU, well, I don't choose MMU. MMU choose me.
Oh.
Tak ada lah.
Ayat cinta.
I'm just kidding.
My God.
No lah. So yeah. So why did I choose MMU back then? To be honest with you, it's kind of like a hard decision as well, because MMU was still new. When I joined, MMU was 2004. Betul tak Zik? It was
Correct.
2004, right? Yeah. So MMU was only established 1999, so it's about 5 years. So kita orang tak ada reference sangat. But the good thing is, I think because I got an offer to go to UIA to further my study in law. So it's either law or creative. And of course, I go with my passion, which is creative line. So hence, MMU was a good choice. And that time was new, and the iklan dia macam wow. So and then I know that I can learn a lot of things in MMU, because masa tu it was new. It was everything was iklan dia macam wow lah. So I'm not too sure, but because of the ads, I was like macam terpengaruh lah, I would say kan. So yeah, I went there and I don't think I macam regret lah to go in there, as you can see lah right now. Yeah.
Betul je dah betul.
As we can see right now, probably memang betul lah.
This is the outcome.
Jean Basri, right?
Boy.
Oh yes.
All right, so we've already heard that from Jean Basri with his first experience, or rather macam mana he got enrolled into FCM. So still John Basri, if you could turn back time, would you want to experience your life in MMU all over again? And if you do, why?
Hey, because of me, lah.
Probably.
I know he's gonna say that. Well, yes. If you ask me that if I could turn back time, definitely I would go back and experience my life again in MMU. Because I think I learned a lot. I made lots of friends, local and international friends. Someone like Zik, half here, half there. International or local rather. Um, yeah, we learn a lot. We
Okay.
study, things like macam 2D and 3D, and also I'm into sports, so I think I make. Itulah, I think the bonding like friends in MMU, and of course when you lepak kat HB2 too, the view is nice as well. So part of the being MMU punya alumni lah, I suppose.
Yeah, so as you guys can see on the screen right now, these are Zik and John
Oh
Basri's
my
photos during their time in STM.
Courtesy of
Yes.
Mr. Zik.
Disclaimer, Zik memang ada crush on me, I suppose. So dia
Jadwal,
macam
jadwal.
kat MMU lah. Not anymore, yeah. So scary, Zik.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Hey, heterosexually, yes. That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
Bromance.
Yeah, we get it.
These are some of the nice views mentioned, supposedly.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
look so young.
yeah.
Yes, and yet so far away.
Oh, this is like old school, man. Oh my goodness.
Oh my lord.
Zik pun still ada hair lagi.
Oh no!
Yes, I miss my hair, unfortunately, but life away. Some part of you kena lah.
You guys are still.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
also is yeah till now, and I think hopefully forever lah. And you can see there's a lot of photos as well. Some of the photos are actually when we go out to take some photos for assignments, especially photography class. So it's bukan lah kita pergi out, to main-main saja instead of tengok movie, but yes, we do go out and do lots of assignment together, which is we love, and I think that's why I dengan Zik sampai sekarang we are still intact, and some of our friends as well, Farid, Amin, Dina, and ramai lah if I want to mention all here, but itulah.
That's an interesting photo.
Yeah, so that one is Zik with two friends.
Girlfriends.
Yeah. So and Azim as well. Tengok Azim sekarang. I think last week his session kan. So yeah,
Yes.
we until now kita orang still in touch, and I think most of us turn out to be in the same industry. It's just different. It's same field, but it's the different kind of passion that they go into. So alhamdulillah lah.
Amin. Hey, masa tu, remember we have to go to the cinema all the way to either Sunway and then later Alamanda kan?
Oh yeah. Why are we talking about that again?
I don't know, random memory coming out. It's coming.
Okay.
Work hard, play harder.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so if you look at back the photos tadi pun kita tahu probably you guys pun nak experience it all over again, right?
Yeah.
Rindu.
especially
rindu tu. I think-
Zik kot.
Oh,
Zik
Because-
memang dia rindu lebih
because-
sikit.
of course.
Yeah, because in the photos nampak macam he's the one yang having so much fun.
They call me the hype man, I hype love, I hype, friendship, I'm very nice.
No
Sometimes
wonder.
people call me Poyo. I thought Poyo was a good word when I came to Malaysia. Apparently it wasn't. But I owned it, so that's where campus free.
All right. So, well, we're going back to it again. So because
Okay.
well, you see nowadays we are especially teenagers lah very exposed of sebab social media and all of that. Sebab semuanya dah anything you nak tahu, anything you just Google je dah dapat, right? So these teens or like macam kita audience kita sekarang probably mostly SPM leavers kan might become indecisive when it comes to decision making lah. Well, in this case, it's about nak pursue what course and so on. So Zik, looking back, was it a hard decision to make when you choose the course you chose lah? And do you have any regrets about it?
Okay, so to give you more context, during that time, I think when we were all in Alpha, we were given the opportunity first to hone the basic fundamental skills of being an FCM student. So, you know.
Okay, so before that, to the audience who don't know, Alpha is foundation lah, basically.
Yes.
In
We
foundation.
categorize our years: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and so on.
Yes.
All those.
Yes.
But
That's
to join, yes.
Correct. So we didn't do a diploma. I think all of us jumped to foundation, which if you're going to a university, I would encourage you just to go straight to foundation, because I think diploma is a bit too long. Foundation is just perfect because you are transitioning slowly to something that you're looking to be master at with the bachelor's degree that you choose. So during our time during foundation year, we had to go through the fundamental subjects first. At one point, I was a bit clueless because there's a subject called media math, and I'm like, how do you do media with math? You know, is that coding or it's just calculus? You know, so I'm like, all this ad maths. I'm like, aduh, Basri, kenapa kena buat ad math lagi? Aduh, I've never done ad math, so that was quite a quite a ride. I even hired a tutor among our colleagues at that time.
Betul.
Yeah, but at the end of your foundation year, the head of each major from ID, at that time there was interface design, digital media, media innovation, virtual reality, and FA. So there's these 5 majors. So they would come and try to do a presentation whether this subject suit you, you know. So out of those 5, for me, I looked at VR mostly because VR looked fresh. The way they sold the idea about virtual reality at that time was very, it was like one of a kind. So, and that grabbed my attention at that time. Okay. And of course, I decided to take VR, and it was totally different because there's a lot of technicalities that you need to learn, especially some codes on, from designing, from crafting and experience of what you're building on simulation. And that is something of I never expected to see after I finished the course. Because what I'm doing now is not really much related to VR, but there were a lot of topics while learning VR that you can still apply. And I think I mentioned sometime before about the experiential studies on crafting an experience for a specific user of a persona that you're trying to build for. So I chose VR thinking it was cool, it's the new thing. But when I graduated from VR, there were not many jobs related to VR. If you had to find one, you had to go to a much more you have to go outside of Malaysia. You have to go to the UK or North America, because VR people would mostly tie it with gaming, with simulation, architecture. So there were things that we could have learned, like CAD, which is very architectural based, but of course that's quite advanced. So we only learned some of the basics of VR. So the job opportunities at that time for VR students, you wouldn't find the ideal VR related jobs. So that was quite of a challenge, of course. But at the end of the day, I decided to take another course, pursue my master's in something totally different. But that was just by choice, because I knew what I wanted after I graduated, I believe. And you cannot predict what you want is forever when doing that particular subject, unless you're like me. I'm always trying to try every doors as possible. Every opportunities is a door. So I want to try, experience it. If I like it or not, I can always leave the door open and come back. So that's the way how I perceive on taking up virtual reality as my major. Although I will have to say, it was an amazing group of people. We had an amazing group of batch. If Celine is watching, and a few others. Baha was my class. We used to call him Baha Man. I'm not sure if he's here. So all these guys were amazing group of people who were thriving to hone VR as it is. We even had an exhibition. I think my final year project was rebuilding a city called Jarash, which is an old Roman city based in Jordan. I even went to the location just to snap photos, do some research, and bring it back to life. And the best part about the simulation, the moment you play the simulation game, you can hear the Gladiator theme song in the beginning. So it felt like you're gonna go and fight in a gladiator ring, but apparently it's just going around. It's very infomercial. So, but yeah, but if I had to give a suggestion to those who are looking to what major they want, it's always good to be prepared before picking your major, because in my situation, I wasn't sure which to pick. So maybe for Basri's case, he might already know what he wanted. For me, I wasn't sure. And there were also groups of people on our friends. Everybody's raving about MI, media innovation, because it's the coolest one. You get to work with advertising.
I think, agree. I think it's more of that because of more the popular group and popular course at that time. And I think VR it's still new.
Yeah.
And look at it right now, Zik, like everyone is VR is in like demand kan, because everyone is asking for a lot of virtual reality punya games, or even with the pandemic happen pun, people are going like into virtual. So I think this is the opportunity for VR students as well.
Absolutely.
Current students or the alumni kan. I think it's a very, very good opportunity as well. Because I think that time after VR, because I myself pun, what you had that time was, I remember goggles, and then you just pakai, and then with the joystick just to play around with it. So we were like, that's it, you guys do. So it's not only that, so it's I think the backend, the one that you create. So it's I think
in the beginning, to be the first movers and shakers, that's what we like to call them. It's a very difficult statement to start. You're like, I just saw a comment by Azim. Now there's more opportunity, just like you said, Jean, about the amount of opportunities now. I mean, now we have moved on from VR to AR, which is augmented reality. Soon, holistic technology. All of these are endless. And this has to do a lot with the progress of globalization. It has to do a lot with the fast pace of growing technologies over the years. So for those who are watching and looking at VR as something that they want to do, this is a fantastic time. I think you should definitely take it up. I think MMU is probably one of the only, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, one of the only university offering this sort of major. So take this chance. I believe they have plenty of resources for not just VR, but all the majors in hand at FCM. So you're in the right place if you're looking at VR as your number one choice.
Yeah, so as Zik explained just now tadi kan, so the career prospect tu, that was during his time graduating from from MMU. So right now everything's changed. Even in Malaysia pun everything's changed, right? So to those yang nak pursue virtual reality, jangan gundah, jangan gulana. Demand in Malaysia is very high nowadays.
Something like the background right here. This is also part of.
That's called virtual background. And we're in a virtual meeting.
Oh my God.
Okay, guys. That's a lot of information to digest. We are going to take a couple of minutes of commercial breaks right now, and we will join you guys later. So stick around. More.
Yeah.
Our two spectacular alumni.
Hello,
Also, not
hello.
forgetting my friend here, Azri. Okay, so I
Yeah.
hope our I hope our audience are still with us. Masih setia bersama kami dalam program Student Tanya, Alumni Jawab. Okay,
Right.
and our topic for this evening is the founder's journey. Okay, so Azri, we have listened
Saya
to their first time experience. Lepas tu ada juga kita buat throwback sikit tadi, and also kita apa?
kenangan
Dengar
terindah.
lah, ya, kenangan-kenangan terindah mereka di MMU kan Azri. So it's quite interesting. What do you have to say about
Very
that, Azri?
interesting. Well, I wouldn't want to go too much into their kenangan terindah because that is the memories that they built in uni, in MMU during campus life. So I
Yeah.
will go to this question is for actually I will go to we'll start our next question, which is to the both of you. We can start
Okay.
Mr. JB. So when you were in FCM, did you see yourself coming this far? Like you having your own company. What or who
Ayo.
inspired you to take this huge step forward?
Hmm.
Other than the
Well, Zik
obvious
says him.
choice.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, brother.
Well, you asked me, did I see myself coming this far? To be honest, not at all. Not at all. Because I was more of wanted to work for like an animation company in Malaysia, and I did. I did for a while because I think some of my friends know why I can't pursue at that time I couldn't pursue to go with the animation company. I worked only for about close to 1 year because of the deadline is a bit well, it's too much. I couldn't take it because yelah you baru grad, so you tiba-tiba like macam overwhelmed with the deadlines and crazy working hours. So you know you baru nak start kan. So I think I got somehow like culture shock or work shock in animation. So you know, but of course, I you know I don't give up. I just like macam okay. I think maybe animation not so much for me because I do love my you know creative line, but animation is not part of my life like you know to work. So I moved to publishing to gain some experience, and which I did. I did a lot, you know, gain a lot of experience doing publishing. I even met a lot of people because at the same time I actually do graphics and also you know meet up new people, clients, sponsors. Because publishing that time the main you know the main profit they make is from the sponsors. So uh, basically doing PR at the same time. So after that, I move. I work. So I learn people skills, uh, and then uh, I went to a corporate life, which is you know macam quite random, but I
Okay,
never
okay.
leave my creative line because even though I'm in the corporate world, I was in Securities Commission Malaysia for almost 10 years. So back then I was in corporate affairs department. I wasn't sure what I buat kat sana at first, but of course they have like alpha. They have like a foundation year. Macam they call it GME. I don't know whether they still have it or not. So this helped me to know more about SC, about Securities Commission Malaysia, about the corporate world, and at that time I was like quite surprised there is actually a department who actually uh, owns the creative line. So I joined them and I built my own, I would say my connection networking over there. So I did have fun with in SC. On of course, I think after 10 years, almost 10 years, I feel like macam I think it's about time for me to, because my passion it's more on creative line. So I think this actually inspired me to build my own creative agency, which is called Ulala Studio right now. Yeah.
Ooh la
Okay.
la la la.
Oh,
La 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 la.
that's a
Every time
long
cakap
name.
Ulala.
ya.
Ooh la long
Every
sikit
time cakap oh lala nanti dia macam nak nyanyi. Tapi nak nyanyi lagu
Oh,
Shopee.
hey,
Oh my god.
laki Aryu lah.
Everybody put your hands up, your phones up, ready? 1, 2,
Oh my. Hey.
Jojo, yeah. Yes, A plus for
Oh,
you.
by the way, that will be like my part-time job to even I was doing my just to share with you guys. I was doing my advertisement TV commercial when back in MMU, way before when I was in Alpha. So it's good side income, by the way. So if you have the chance, use that and do that. Even Zik try to do commercial tapi tak lepas.
Hmm.
Oh, bit of inside tea going on.
Yes. I kill you, Batri. No.
No, I'm kidding, Zik. So, but to be honest, like some people would love to do students, future students. If you go to MMU, you want to gain if you want to gain some side income ke apa, I think use this opportunity, especially with your line. Though I do my TV commercial, but I do learn a lot in production, because when you're a talent, it's a good thing that the behind the scene and also in front. So I think hence I'm a more macam confidence kid right now, because to
yes.
have your own company kan. So
So much
it build a lot lah. So it build a lot, especially when you go through all these things lah. So yeah, expose yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the busy bees coming.
Easy B is coming here.
Busy bee. No, QB is our mascot for MMU.
Mascot.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah. The blue
Okay.
bee. That was a really interesting life journey by Mr. Jean Basri.
Thank
It
you.
shows that you don't have to stick into one line, just doing one thing that you
That's right.
like at the time, right? So
One thing. I
But
don't know
but
what.
you come back to your
doesn't really
passion.
matter. Exactly. Passion is the most important thing. Now I'll ask the same question again to Mr. Zik. When
I poke you.
you were in,
Go ahead.
when you were in SCM, did you see yourself coming this far? Like you branched out as well from your main degree to venture into other things.
Yes,
What or who inspired you to take this huge step forward?
So like life is it's like a box of chocolates. Like what you experience now is what you want to have at present. So when the moment you leave university, it's something of another new world that you're just trying to figure out, what am I doing, or what I'm doing, what I really wanted to, and there's a lot of factors to that. In my case, I already the moment I graduated from MMU, I somewhat knew like I need some diversity in what I want, and because what I actually was so passionate about the moment I finished university was more about how can I contribute in helping people. So helping people, not just myself, but the masses in various communities. I'm very attached to a lot of these issues that's happening in the Middle East. You know, a lot of my friends know, like Farid, Basri, Azim. They all know I'm so crazy and passionate about what's happening with the refugees in the Middle East and so forth. And they know about my trip going back and forth in between classes, in between universities. So that pushed me away from my variant of, not COVID variant, but my variant of wanting to start to pursue VR. And I decided to look into, you know, nonprofits. I had this aspiration to work with the United Nations, particularly with UNHCR. And I got that opportunity only when I was studying Arabic in Jordan. This is right after my master's. So a lot of these are different kind of opportunity values that I see. And I think what also helped me to understand what I was going through is to find out, was it worth it or not? So while I was with some NGOs and IGOs, some didn't really click because of various issues. Maybe it's slow. It is known to be slow. I think everybody knows how intergovernmental organization work. There's a joke about OIC, the Organization of Islamic Conference community. OIC is just like, oh, I see. So they just see. They don't do anything. It's a joke among very many policymakers. So I realized, well, finishing my time in Jordan, I came back. I met these guys again, and I already see Basri, you know, moving already to SC. My other close friend, you know, one is a lecturer, one became working at Sime Debbie, you know, and I was just like, what am I going to do, you know? And I realized the only skills that I knew that I was very good at since I was at university was anything with communication, anything with, you know, showmanship, anything with soft skills. So I decided to do sales. So that was my first corporate job with this British company called GDS International, just selling high C-level conferences in Southeast Asia. And that's what I tried to master, the art of pitching, you know, the art of selling, which is something that is missing in most universities. I think for Azri and Juju, you know, you don't see classes where lecturers teach you how to sell, you know, like the least thing I think all of us should learn, and a lot of us only manage to realize the importance of that when we go to the real world, not in university. So, you know, like if you see a beautiful girl in a kanduri kawin, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, are you gonna try and ask your mom to, you know, hey, I nak pick dia? No, you gotta figure out how to attract, you know, with your words. Your words matter, you know. Whatever you say, you know, that's how you capture things. So life is going to be all about pitching sampai you mati lah. That's the way how I see it. You know, so when I finished my corporate time with this British company, I moved to Mind Valley, and I just had another restart because corporate world is different. You know, it's different if you work with the GLCs. It's different if you work with the MNCs. It's also different when you work with a foreign company. You know, everyone has a different culture. You know, some places you are culture fit, but you're not a performing kind of individual. So all of that was playing in my mind, and I realized there's this company that was actually very focused on entrepreneurship. You know, their mantra, their belief is to enrich your entrepreneurial mindset. So you can do many various things. So I can just write a copy, plus do a bit of digital marketing, plus do a bit of customer support, plus try to make some online sales through e-commerce. So you would learn everything. And this was back in 2011. And that sort of gave me this different set of vision, you know, that goes back to my focus on wanting to help people. And I realized I could start maybe a small initiative called Incitement, which is basically a movement first. It was not even a company. It was a movement just like TEDx, where you would, because I was so fed up with this whole setup with keynote talks with 45-minute session of the speakers talking, then a Q&A, and then a network, and then everybody goes home. But where's the action? You know, where is the conversion? What we want is conversion of what you've been inspired to do something that really matters to you. And that's how you help yourself to make change or do something on the spot, just do it, just like Nike, right? So I came up with this idea. I didn't know it would grow rapidly. And my KPI was very simple. It's like, I just want to make 1% cry in the whole talk. Because if 1% cries, everybody will start feeling the move. You start to feel the moment, And when they're in the moment, that's the perfect time to give them any call to action. So you can ask, for those who have deep sympathy and empathy for the refugee issue in Malaysia, here are your NGOs that you can volunteer, that you can initiate, that you can donate. That's what conversion rate happens when you put them on the spot because they're in that special moment. And that's when I realized, oh my God, what have I done? Like Incitement movement was no longer in Malaysia. It was in 45 countries by 2014. And that's when I quit my job.
Wow.
And started to do something that I never thought of, was becoming an entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur. As a matter of fact, we have courses in MMU back then called cyberpreneurship, where we teach students how to be entrepreneurial. But again, your stage in the university is a classroom, so you don't feel the hustling, the bustling, the pressure of making sales. It's just like a class, I remember that one time, most great ideas comes from friends just joking, because they're joking about a problem, which is a real problem. So because people validate that problem. I remember Amin Azman, who was here last week, he started this thing called e-salat, where you could just pray from pray Jumu'ah from the front of your screen. Though
no, there's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Hey,
Zik, please.
This is an idea, but the response.
Idea, yes, but
idea. But the amount of people validating, hey, that's a cool idea. Of course, there are some circumstances at that time. I think it's much open now if you talk about it. But it could have been, now it's pandemic, you can't really go to a mosque. So e-salat is a great opportunity. So it's the same thing. It's first movers, first shakers. The idea was there already. So this is something that it just happens. Nowadays you cannot say, oh, my idea is original. There's no such thing anymore because people are already copying. It's called copy, paste, and innovate.
Yeah.
Everybody is not. There's no longer to say, oh, he's so innovative because he created his unique idea.
Yes,
it's all about
true.
borrowing brilliance. Everyone is
Yes.
borrowing modules of different business value proposition or proposal that just fits in the market. Market fit. So back to myself, when I turned this to a company, it was very simple. I just wanted to connect Fortune 500 companies, GLCs who can fund using marketing, not just CSR, with NGO, nonprofits, foundations, and so forth. And as a middle person, as the platform, we're just trying to provide the framework, the features to make it more accountable, make it more transparent. And we realized along the way, technology is the way to make everything transparent, to make everything much more easy for accountability, much more easy to verify whether this NGO is real or whether I get tax exemption automated, sent to me digitally, So that's how we evolve. And evolution is an everyday thing. I mean, now with the pandemic, I think it only helps accelerate. I think Basu mentioned this in our rehearsal about, the things you just have to be relevant always, and at the same time you need to be able to adapt change. You can no longer stay on the traditional way. You can no longer do that. It's impossible, and competition is much more. And what I do agree with Basri just now is about the fact that you should be hustling right now because it's great, especially if you're an SCM student. You can go to Fiverr, make $5 for a very small amount of work. You can go to various kind of online features. It's a small microdose money, but it's something, it keeps you busy.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do, right? So, and this is a way for you to learn, For someone like Juju and Azri, I envy you guys because you're so young, you have so many years that allows you to make mistakes. At our level, where me and Basri are at, it's very difficult because people look up to you. The pressure is there,
Yeah.
You're a leader in your company. You need to be able to own to your responsibility. We are afraid. I'm afraid sometimes to what I'll turn into. That's something I have to worry. But for you guys, I encourage you to learn and make as much mistakes as possible because that's the only way to learn, man. You can't have a successful
Yeah.
business if you don't make mistakes. You only see what's
That's
nice in
true.
front of you. You don't see the dark side of, going through mental issues that for some people going through bankruptcy. I almost went through 2 different bankruptcies. I talk about them openly because it's true, Even though I am on Forbes or whatever, these are all nice labels,
Yeah.
but the real deal is about how did you overcome it, and and that's the reality. So when you finish university, which I like to call the premium time, because premium time is everything almost free for you at university. Your mother, father is helping you, but premium time, when you have to go to the real world, you have to be responsible to be paying everything, your bills and stuff. So a lot. There's so many things to share, but that's the reality. What I learned and what I like to talk to all the SPM goers who are going to foundation year. Don't do diploma. Go to foundation year. You are ready to just go straight to the major that they want. Just be ready, be prepared. And you just to be able to make mistake is not easy because we have our ego sometimes. It's there. It's never gonna go away. It's what we call mental block. All of us here have a mental block, So it's for you to overcome that block that, that kind of represses your progress. So you need to face it and just own your mistake and then try to keep learning and make new mistakes that allows you to learn, I think Basri can agree with me. If someone makes a mistake, we want them to take ownership and then hopefully they learn it and they'll make another mistake that we would be happy to help and guide because that's how it is, So, yeah, I think I've talked a bit too much, Azri. I'm so sorry because it's virtual meeting, virtual time.
It's very insightful, Zig.
No, it's
That's
very
yeah,
insightful.
yeah,
It's
very, very insightful.
I think every
And
leaver should listen to this advice. Always make mistakes
yeah,
at a young age.
But
so we
don't
get
get.
yeah.
But remember the advice that he said. Don't take diploma. I disagree with that. So. Whatever it is, whatever degree or diploma, you just go for it first because end of the day, it's about making mistakes. Remember?
Yes, brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we
Sorry.
get two quite different answers, but somewhat similar in some ways.
Same but different.
Where I can conclude that
Oh my God! Someone called me
you don't
Ajaran
always
Sisat.
stop at your first choice, right? So
Yeah.
it's everything is about trial and error, and if you're going to be entrepreneurs, you just have to get out of your safe bubble and like Zik said, don't scared to make mistakes and learn from them lah, bukannya make mistakes saja-saja
Yes, I believe. Yeah.
And just to add on for that one, Juju, it's also to gain some experience and then don't be afraid to evolve to other things as well.
Yes,
like
true.
especially when you're talking about events, kan? I mean, production, real life shooting, you can't do that anymore nowadays. Not anymore, but you can do, but it's very limited time and also MCO lah, apa lah kan. So I think, so this is where, especially my company evolved from the events, we are doing the virtual events. Similar to what we're doing right now, but of course, with a lot of tech behind, So yeah, don't be afraid and keep on learning the trend. I mean, keep on always learning lah. It's a learning process anyway.
Yes, so
Always
listening to this, I think we both can guess, can Azri, that Jawab, Basri and Zik are probably very active during their uni life in MMU.
Definitely. You can see from the personas.
Definitely, right? So yes, and we would like to know if you guys did joining these activities help you in like polishing your leadership skills? Yeah, and how did it help?
This is the product. We are talking to the product of leadership right here. So I believe
How did it help?
a lot.
I think Zik can answer that first.
We'll start with Mr. Zik.
Yeah, the thing about leadership, they're not born, they're made. That's for sure. Charisma is also not something if you're born, you're talented, but if you work hard, that's what how you shape yourself. And how you work hard is all about your ethics, and it's all about your mentality and your attitude. And attitude is the hardest thing that we can, change. Just look at all the pandemic, all the stubborn people out there, whether you're, from the top level or, what I'm saying. So it's hard, So that's something that you need to face. And I don't know about the new generation now, but I think it'll be a bit much more difficult because you are so exposed to the micro dosing of happiness through your phone. There's this theory where every like you see, it somehow plays with your that happy liquid in your brain. I forgot what to call it. Your dopamine. It does that over time. Psychologically, it's proven. That's why Facebook hired all these psychologists to figure out how to get you attached on these platforms. So because you're so you're so plugged in with this kind of habits, it does become difficult to go a bit to lower down, to level yourself on grasping things that you are trying to rush to get, because everyone seems to we want something fast. Back in our days, to watch a 30-minute video on YouTube was amazing. Nowadays they prefer 3 minutes. So there's a reason why, and it's because people want things fast, and that's what's happening with the behavior of customers, behavior of users. That's why TikTok and Instagram nowadays with this IG story stuff, it works. It's fast. They give you what you want. The content you see, boom, you get it. So when it comes to leadership, it depends on how much you want to be a leader. A leader in what? That's the first thing. A leader as a team member, anybody can do it, even if you're an introvert. It's very different to lead a team who are techies, who are coders. They are different. They have a different way of thinking. So you need someone who understands to communicate. So a good leader is all about communication. Communication, it's the best way, or else you're going to be excommunicado with your teammates. It's that simple. So you need to understand the lingua of not just the language of English or Bahasa or Mandarin or whatever language. It's also how they behave, their empathy, their persona. Have they done the Myers-Briggs test, so you understand their personality? So it does help. It just gives you an indication, so you know how to deal with them, how to excite them, how to gain them. It's all about this, how to understand their psyche. It's difficult to, it's not easy to manage people. We have about over 100 people that we have to make sure they get paid at the end of the month. It's not easy, when you get there. I can't imagine how you do it with 1,000 people, or yet along with 20 in the beginning. I mean, when I mentioned I almost got bankrupt, is because I looked at scaling so fast, and I totally forgot about the amount of resources coming in. And that's usually the problem with companies that start in the beginning. They scale fast. That was my mistake, and it was probably the best education mistake I've done post university life. It's probably the most expensive one ever. Once you get that, that's the only way that you can somewhat level down and learn to progress further. Because unfortunately, humans, the only way they would learn from their mistakes in terms of their bad habits or in terms of being overboard is tragedy. When tragedy happens, that's when you start to break all your walls down, and that's when you start to, embrace change, and that's history. So for me, I cannot learn to be a leader without a good business partner. My business partners are both Dutch people. Both are very different. Both are always on time. When they say 12 p.m., it's not 12 p.m., it's 11:55 a.m. That's how they are. And for them, if you're not on time, it's just like me, backstabbing you. That's how they feel about it. For us Malaysians, we don't feel, lah 5 minit je, lagi 5 minit saya sampai. That's not how they feel. So that's why I said, by understanding how to understand their cultural behavior also, there's a lot of differences there that you need to understand. So as much as friendly as we are, we need to be able to know these things, out of respect. Of course, it's always great to be on time, I'm always on Dutch time now, but before, oh my God, macam-macam kena hantam sampai. But that's how you learn, that's how you learn. And, so that's that's what it is. Sometimes I don't really see myself as a leader. Sometimes, I just feel like I can help you in a way where I hype or I excite you again on your
Hype man.
relive your passion. I can do that. I feel like I have the ability to do that. And to lead you, what I do best is I connect you with people who I think can help you excel, like what Basri said, because network is important. His network that he has built with SC is probably one of the best network that you can ever get, because all the high rolling clients, high influential clients are all there, and it's a matter of trying to use how to be resourceful with that. And that also is part of your leader. I have my label is basically a connector. I like to connect people. That's what I do. And I incite them first. I incite positivity. Okay, then I will connect them wherever that lies best. So that's how I look at the role of a leader. As much as crazy I am, as much as how people are commenting saying I feel like I'm on something. I'm not. It's just how naturally I am. This is how I am. Myself of being going the other route, but this is how it is, and I play my role. This is what I'm good at. Bashi is also good at his own uniqueness, personality with his team. So if you're good at one thing, you should focus on that. That's how I feel, and that's how you can somehow delegate the roles. With your other colleagues, your other teammates. I'm not a financial guy, but my business partners are. So if you're not that good, you can rely on them. Just know the basics. That's all I'm saying. So that's pretty much it. I have to say, Azri. I hope that give you some insights on what I'm saying.
Very, very insightful insight on the importance and the difficulties of trying to becoming a leader. And also the same question to Mr. Jean Basri.
Well,
For everyone out there who wants to know, Mr. Jean Basri is a very good football player. I believe he was the
Oi.
captain of the football team. So that's very important
Yeah.
aspect of learning, training oneself to become a
Yeah.
leader. Can you tell us a
Wow.
bit more?
Well, as you know, Azri, I played for MMU.
Di
I
Kapitan,
joined MMU
Basri.
football club for futsal, captain for football and futsal. We have inter-faculty. So to answer your question about I think Zik summarized most of the things that the questions. But when you're talking about leadership, of course, I learned being a captain myself. It's a bit, and loving the game. It's a bit like macam a challenge for me, because to assemble a team is one thing, and then the second thing is, as you know, in MMU we have local and also international students. So some of locals doesn't really speak their language. Even myself, I don't speak Arabic well. So, but I have to learn this to a basic language, so at least I can tell them what to do. I have to instruct them. So this is basically a basic learning of being a leader, even though it's a small little thing. So you learn along the way, of course. And myself, even now, and I agree with this Zik Daddy, because he said that it's still a learning process. If you, where am I right now, Pon, I still learning how to be a leader, though I own a company, and also it will never stop. So it also come with the experience. And talking about the international and the local students, I have to manage them together. So even now I have to manage my staff, and also it's not an easy thing. So, but it's a learning process every day as well. It's how you tackle, and also the leadership skills. It doesn't, you have to polish with your own charisma as well. Correct, Zik? So it comes naturally. So I think also with along the way, you also learning your PR skills to communicate with people, with your clients, even alumni. So, you have to adapt. How do you speak with them? How do you communicate with them? So, with their lingo. So then you can gel in, can you know what I mean? So yeah,
Yes.
so it's always a learning process, but of course it's good to be a leader, but it's not easy.
Bien sûr, bien sûr.
Okay, so well, that's really great. And as we all can see, MMU bukan sahaja fokus to academics lah kan, obviously. So, but still, students are the one yang need to be active lah, kan? Bukannya,
That's right.
bukannya tunggu orang panggil lah. Basically, you need to be active and of course actually take role lah in what you join tu kan. So
Yeah.
before we move on, we have a question from one of our audience and
Audience question.
Oh,
yes,
Wow.
and this question is from Atsmara Atira, and we would like to tujukan this question to Zik. Boleh Zik?
bisa, Mas.
Okay, so the question is, what can you say to creatives who
Okay.
wants to venture into social or non-profit field, and how do you think we can contribute creatively?
Oh, this is endless. Endless. I actually gave a talk about this because creative people are the best people to portray the message with feelings, with feels, not
Yeah.
companies, not people who not engineers, but it's the creative people. I follow Fahmi Reza a lot. A Malaysian activist. The way he portrays things, it hits you. That's it, and that's what creativity is. So with a lot of these things going on, I see the bendera putih coming out, bendera hitam coming out.
Yeah.
All of these are things that really matter, in whatever sense people believe in it. Because those kind of messages, it just hits people. So for creative people trying to really help NGOs and nonprofits, they really need your help, if you ask me, because they're only great at what they're doing when it comes to helping and implementing the framework of the communities with their solutions. But when it comes to digital marketing, when it comes to copywriting, when it comes to all the creatives that they need to exert their their problem, the message, to put the message across, this is where they struggle. And you only see the top dogs, the most famous known NGOs, because they have a very powerful engine and powerful, great resource to do that. But the ones who are underdogs, who are as equally as great as the rest, they don't have that ability. And we have tried this in the past, 10, 12 years ago, try to get people in the creative world just to do for pro bono sake, because for them it's a great way to portray, on the type of work that they do, that's the thing. Like, how do you talk about human rights but make it sound sexy? Human rights lawyers aren't able to do that. Creative people can. How do you talk about the whole Rohingya issue and make every mothers in this country cry about it and do more? Because moms, when they see kids suffering, it just naturally happens like that. Or anyone who has any heart for any humanity, they would have that. And the best people to do that are the creatives. So those are the right people who can share that message, And now in this pandemic, everything's online. So by all means, you have so many emanations at your disposal, and so many platforms that you can use. People are I see a lot of makeup artists who are on TikTok just randomly, talking about their makeup, and all of a sudden the last 10 seconds, boom. Oh, don't worry, 10 million people just died today while I was doing this makeup in China. So that's creativity, That's the way how you exert the message. And when people get that, you're getting instant dose of information that really matters.
Yes.
So this is how I see creatives taking part. And you should try. The only challenge that you will face is that they're in denial, or they would say, "Oh, we got this. We don't really need your help." But that happens in everything, because and that's when the challenge. That's where you challenge yourself. Try to communicate with them on how you can sell your value, not not about the cost. Maybe you don't want to do it for. Maybe you don't want to. You don't want to do for free in the beginning, but you just gotta talk value. You gotta talk about the message. Nowadays, no one goes on Facebook. Facebook's become like a complaint platform now, rather than a place where you can post, because you have to pay ads these days. So that's why I feel creatives are the perfect answer of the whole NGO nonprofit realm, who needs someone who masters the art of putting their message across. So if you have something in mind and someone who you want to talk to already, go for it. I encourage you, and please do it.
Okay, so I hope that answers Atmara's question. And
Yes, you have
now,
TikTok.
yeah, and now we will be having another break. And don't go anywhere. And we'll be back after this short commercial break.
I will follow you.
Wow. Students Tanya, Alumni Jawab. Malam ini bersama Mr. Jean Basri and Mr. Zikry Kholil. I'm sure tonight has been very informative, very funny, a lot of mixed feelings about joining uni and stuff. Betul tak, Ju?
Betul, sangat betul Azri. And quite sad jugalah sebab kita dah onto our final punya segment kan. Okay, so for this final segment, as usual lah, I akan still tanya, ada lagi soalan obviously. And
Not run
tetapi for
away.
this segment, for this segment ni kita akan start dengan, we will start with a question from the audience. Okay, so this question comes from Azim Hulaimi.
So Azim,
yes, he pointed this question to both Jean Basri and also Zik. So he's asking, how are you both coping with the pandemic so far with your respective company, and what's the next plan at this time? Okay, so maybe we can go with Jean Basri dulu.
You bro?
Jean Basri, you're on mute, eh?
Okay.
Okay,
Can you hear me now? Sorry, guys. Okay. Azim asked for the question just now, right?
Yes.
Azim, it's very good question though. I think everyone is asking the same thing to everyone in the same industry. To be honest with you, Alhamdulillah, we are coping quite well because of this pandemic. It's kind of course, it's a bad pandemic. We all hit with COVID-19 kan, but at the same time, it's a blessing as well for our industry. But again, some of my peers ada yang tutup their company, but the good thing is you got to evolve. So to answer the question, Azim, when we do a real life shooting production, so you got to, I know a lot of people like spend a lot of money on buying equipments, and also this is the time that you use your own creativity, think out of the box, use that tool to do virtual. So this is what's happening right now. We are, in fact, we are pitching to one of our clients recently. We are doing, the normal event that usually client will do face to face. So now they are more inclined to do a virtual event. So this is something that I would say, this is where you can use your creativity to evolve from normal production, because the concept are similar. So from production, you just move to a virtual event. You do the shooting, and now, yes, you still have, maybe you have one-on-one session with the director to shoot with them and all, but you still follow the SOP. So I think this is how, if you want to survive, you have to evolve, follow the trend that what is happening right now. So because of SOP and things, the thing is leverage on your equipments. You have cameras and all, and also be creative, and this will make you become like more innovative lah.
Okay, so that's very that's very insightful. And what does Zik have to say about this?
Yeah, I think because we're a technology company, it's a bit different, especially if you're running e-commerce platform, you're only relying on the number of users who are going to buy or order or whatever, that is not going to go away. And as a matter of fact, the amount of users using more platforms online have tripled because of this pandemic. And as for my case, we're very, very lucky. We're very how do I say? We have not been hit that hard compared to many people. Just like Basri was saying, we have friends who lost their jobs, lost their income. These are people who are close to us. People who are also our relatives. People who have went through personal issues, from getting divorced to having mental issue. I had a friend of a friend who tried to commit suicide. It's no joke, this pandemic, unfortunately, the way how I see it, And if anything is to change, there's very little that you can do when you are being repressed with limitations on what you're capable of doing with your business activities. I think and I can't speak much on the creative side, but on the technology side of things, there's always possibilities in terms of looking at clients elsewhere, because it's a digital realm now. You don't have to get a Malaysian client. You can always get someone who's in a much more mature market, where the technology is not there, or the type of services are not there. Those places you can penetrate. You can do that anywhere from the tips of your finger, from your hands, on your phone. So there's a lot of possibilities to keep going if you're in the technology field, by building more softwares or whatnot. But for those who are not, who are small, mid-sized enterprises, who rely on the most basic things for them to run business, it's just unfortunate. There's nothing much you can do, but that's just my take, I know, and I'm glad Azim is asking this question, because Azim is also my roommate for 2 years, 3 years in MMU, so he's also my ice hockey player colleague as well.
So to those who don't know, Zik is also a ice hockey player, national, right? National.
We have two national athletes here.
Yeah, but I was not captain, okay? Captain Basri is, Viva la France.
Zik is being humble. No, Zik just being humble.
No, brother. I always look up to you. Basri is a different person on the football field. It's like the Basri, in MMU, like a bit like reserved, but in the football field, whoa, the Eric Cantona come out, So
What?
Okay, so I hope that answers Azim's question. So
You, Azim.
So next, let's move on. So I would like to John Basri. So
Yeah.
you built your own multimedia creative agency, which is Ulala Studio. Okay, and which offer not just one service, but quite a number of services, which you have mentioned earlier during your introduction, right? So some are the digital marketing, 3D modeling and animation, photography and videography, and so on. So can you share with us on how you cope with the tight competition between other creative companies?
Right. Okay. So of course I would say, you always have to be ahead and follow the trend. Trends are always changing. The way people think, the way people, especially the clients, the way they think, the way the way they are macam, different client has always like their own different set of mind. So somehow or rather you got to study a bit of about your client, to get some like insightful. So, and also at the same time you got to have macam comfort from their side. So at least what is the outcome will be. So I would always tell my staff, or my peers, that we always have to keep on going. Of course, it's always when we come to pitch to client, right? So it's not always a winning for our side. Like you said, the competitor is always there. But the thing is, you got to move on, because if you lose, you got to just move on and think. You always have to follow the trend, because if the thing is, creative is always about it's always moving, like I said just now, evolve. And if you have like a different idea from other companies, you definitely will macam will be success lah. So end of the day, it's about being creative. Part of it, follow the trend, and also you got to one thing, be honest and tell the client the truth. Don't overpromise them, because some of them might promise a lot of things and then end up they just it'll become disaster. So of course the first trial won't succeed, but it will along the way it will definitely be successful. Yeah.
Okay, so well, that's very insightful kan. So Azri, Azri,
Yes, saya.
audience pun dah tanya soalan, I pun dah tanya soalan. Do you have any questions you wanna ask
Of
to?
course, I have
Yeah,
questions to ask.
of course.
Alamak.
This question is for Mr. Zik. I have a question for you.
Yallah. تفضل.
Yalla bina bisura.
بسرعة
Okay.
يلا.
So, as the audience have known, you have branched out from your major, which is virtual reality. Could you describe briefly how you implemented not just what you studied in degree, but what you experienced in FCM to what you are doing now? How was the transitions of the perceptions of others, like when you changed to something more towards global development, sustainability, from a let's say coming from a creative standpoint?
I mean, there's a study shown by the OECD member states where 77% of students studying their major are working at unrelated topics or unrelated jobs. And that's been going on for the past actually 15, 20 years. And if you look at, but that does not mean what you experience in your university cannot be applied on a job that has nothing to do with your major at all. I totally disagree for those who feel that way. I mean, first of all, there's many factors how university life, at least from my experience, will harness your ability and prepare yourself for any other opportunities that you want to jump in. You know, number one, it's the student life. You know, student life, it's about not just studying; it's also about socializing. You know, when you socialize, you meet different people, and when you meet different people, just like what Basri was talking about, meeting different international university players, you know, they're everywhere. So that's your first touch point of exposing yourself to different various scenarios where you can experience it and then somehow reflect on using those references in your whatever job that you'll be taking, and that will take away. And I mentioned earlier about the soft skills again because they're very important. And you asked the question about how active we were. You know, I mean, I was extremely active, and I can be very blunt with my CGPA. My academic CGPA was 2.7. You know,
Only?
Oh
Yeah.
no!
2.7. I remembered my father asked me 2.7. I thought 5.0. Apa tu? Oh, I said that's my co-curriculum CGPA. That's different. So I was very active in everything. I was in Care Club. I was in Radio MMU Club. All these club opportunities, just helped you build small things like when you manage a project. I don't think any subject offers you to manage a project like in running an event. You know, there's always this audio warfare. Remember audio warfare, Basri?
Yeah, that's right.
We went
Effie wasn't there. Effie was in there.
You know,
Yeah.
that's an event. You know, when you're managing a cross-cultural integration program for 20,000 students. You know, these are small things that you learn, and a lot of people are looking at it. Oh, I want a certificate. I want a certificate. It's more than a certificate. The experience is much more worth than the certificate, if you ask me. So when I being an FCM student also creates a creative mindset, and you know, being creative is endless possibilities. That's how I see, because you will break all the walls within you. We're always thinking out of the box of a box of another box. Those are FCM. That's FCM for me, if you ask me. And you know, sometimes you just need. Oh, sorry. What is this? Oh, sorry, it's my cat. So yeah, so there's many various things that that you can take away while you're studying. Also, I remember one class where students were looking forward to graduate and start, you know, and thinking they will not learn anymore. You know, and Basri has pointed this out many times throughout this whole conversation. You know, you can't stop learning. You know, it's endless. Information is at your fingertips. You know, we're in a transformation age, so transform this information into something that really matters to you in your growth. That's what is important. You can learn anything. If a terrorist from ISIS can learn how to make a pipe bomb on YouTube, you can learn something 100 times more valuable than that and make a good, honest living for yourself. So that's the honest living, the access that we have. That, you know, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Those are places where you can learn. You know, of course, there are some fake content out there. That's something for you to learn how to filter. which is another skill that you need to learn. And they're all ongoing, when I there's a lot of things that you can take away. And if you ask me, my biggest takeaway was just being very active on campus. I was living on hostel all my life at MMU, because because you were just so active. You just need to be on campus. I handled most of, for 3 years I was the orientation committee, so we make sure that orientation for new students are having the greatest time of their lives, and it's just crafting experience for them, and that's where I learned the idea of making people cry in my Incitement events, because I remembered at the end of the session we had an appreciation round, so it gets students to share their experience during orientation week, and people were crying. Even I was crying, man, at that time. So, and these are great because
Nothing new.
You can cry with me later, okay? So yeah, that's the whole point, I feel so sad for those who have to experience university online because of this pandemic, because I feel like they have robbed you the real experience that you should be experiencing, and there's nothing much you can do about it, And I wish you had ended your last years at MMU, because our last years were the greatest time of our student life. We were doing everything that we can, right, Basri? So that's why I feel sad for you, to be honest. And if I had something I can do about it, I would love to. And that's why university campus matter much more than the subjects that you are taking. And also another thing is, maybe Basri might agree or disagree with me, but nowadays, we don't really look at whether you are a full-fledged student anymore. I think, we look at your
skills.
Your
small skill.
Are you cultural fit? Are you willing to learn? I'm seeing all these random people complaining to me. Oh, this guy asking, oh, are you hiring? I'm looking for a 5,000 ringgit job and I'm a fresh grad. I was like, whoa, where's your communication skills, bro? It's a turnoff for employers. Let's put it that way.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think that's the gap can be only tightened if you're able to manage that expectation, and go through all these main things. And these three main things, I just tell you right now, what you have to make an effort to learn is your communication and soft skills. That's number one. Number two is just try any clubs that you feel that you can be yourself and learn and grow. I was very active in events, and I was emceeing most of the English related events, but there are others who are looking at e-games, e-sports, all the, there's many kind of clubs you can go. So be participative in that. And lastly, there's always a key takeaway from any courses that you take, like we had Chipman, who was incredibly in different very ways, strange.
No doubt, bro, no doubt. No. Azri, jangan mengeluh sekarang. Seriously.
He helped prepare us for the real world.
That's right.
That's what he did.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what he did. Even if he was harsh on you, he was bashing, he was calling your names. Sometimes he will break in front of you. Sometimes yang ada some people who nampak macam alim pun dia kebas lah, and he did that because he did it out of love for the fact that
that's right.
Be ready for the real world, because the real world is harsher or much harsher again.
True. If he nice to you, then you might be, you might have problem then.
Yes. So that the type of lecturers and professors, they play a role. Like if other than Chema, we have Puan Sri,
Madam Sri, yes.
She was like our godmother. She looked after us. She was like our mother on campus. Making sure we do good, we do great. As a matter of fact, for the alumni who are watching, she just built a FCM alumni lounge, which is all from her own resources, and it's free. So if you want to go there, have your own meeting, and just a bit of advertisement. If you want to go there for your own meeting, want to hang out, there's a game room. So Amin, Azim, Farid, those who are listening, yes, there's a game room. We can play games. We can play Counter-Strike. There's a boardroom. So Basri, if you have a meeting with some big event companies in Cyberjaya, just drag that meeting into the meeting room in FCM because it's nice. There's Wi-Fi. Of course, there's Wi-Fi. And there's many things that you can do. So I'm just promoting this because I think you all should know. And I think after this whole ECMOCEO is over, we all should head there and just hang out, because she did this because she wants all the alumnus to come together and
Yes.
have a good time.
True. So,
Thank you, Madam
so
Sri. Mwah.
yes, more.
Sri, I love you. Sorry.
Okay, so there will be one last question from me before we move on to audience punya question. Okay, so my question will
Okay.
be sort of like kebat lah. Kebat 5 marks 5 marks je.
5
Okay,
marks?
so
Okay.
5 marks sahaja. So I will I would like to start with John Basri lah. So do you have any advice to parents and students out there who are still in dilemma lah or doubt whether to join FCM or not? Ataupun to parents who are still unsure of the career path for their children yang nak enroll in FCM.
Okay. Well, this is similar question actually from my sister. She asked me this before because I'm from MMU. So my nephew, in fact, right now, he joined MMU because my sister asked me, "Hey, bayi betul ke? Boleh ke masuk MMU? Bagus ke MMU? You know?" So I think this is the best part to, of course, when my time and our time, we don't have any reference. Like I mentioned earlier on, MMU was still new. You know, it's only like 5 years old establishment, kan Zik? So, if you ask me, if your son or daughter, or future student who actually interested in creative, MMU is the best place to go. Okay, this is not advertisement. This is like really because what they teach you, what you actually learn, it will make you ready. But of course, you got to be hardworking as well lah. It will prepare you for the real world, and of course, just a slightly good news for parents as well, for parents who wanted the kids to enroll in MMU. Some business owner, not myself, you can say juga lah wanted. So I will always ask, are you from MMU? So ada bias sikit lah in that part.
Yes.
So and also there's a big animation company who I know, they always stick from MMU. So if you're talking about job when they graduate, don't worry sangat pasal tu, because the opportunity of having a job as MMU students higher than others, because most of us not conquer lah, but most of us are still in the industry, so we can support each other. Hence also we have alumni, and I think with this platform as well, those who's watching, I think they will know I'm not macam tak bluffing lah, so all these things. So you can actually contact all of us, and being a creative director of Ulala Studio, I myself have a lot of alumni who actually work with me together, and also my staff also coming from MMU students as well. Cool. So yeah, Azri, Juju, so if you're looking for a job, kita interview kemudian PM tepi, okay?
Oh, you're looking for job, yeah.
Actually, guys, even the alumni is taking.
That's the answer from creative director of Ulala Studio.
Ulala.
Okay, so let's go on with Zik next.
Okay, what was the question again?
The question is, do you have any advice to parents or students yang still in a dilemma for their kids to enroll to MMU, and yang to parents yang ada doubts dia punya career path.
So jawapan saya adalah jangan khawatir. Nampak MMU itu apply terus.
Jangan gundah, jangan gulai.
Ini adalah masa depan anak-anak anda.
And kita tidak dibayar. Alamak.
Benar.
Hampir review dia.
So let me tell you something. Apart from the Malaysian alumni, we have also amazing international alumni.
Yes.
A lot of our friends from our batch and the batch before and the batch after, I'll give you some stats. One of them became a mayor of Kabul in Afghanistan, and now is in the Ministry of Education in Afghanistan. This is an MMU alumni, so he's that's a quite high position. Another one designed the space station for the Dubai space race, which is about to be launched in 2035. A junior of ours, his name is Saleh. Was an Emirati. So those are some of the very few, and not, there's so many,
Yes.
and that's why the power of alumni and these international students who came to Malaysia to study, those are one of the finest gems that I've came across during our time studying. And of course, unfortunately, there've been pushed opportunities outside of Malaysia, and I wish that we had more of them, because they were not just any mediocre student trying to get a degree, but they were full on, like another one. If I don't know if you remember Husam in your class.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
he's a great
in
creative.
ID.
Yeah, he's a great creative now in Saudi Arabia, making all these big gigs. Because Saudi Arabia is opening up, so he's one of the front runners on doing events regionally in the Middle East. So, and there's many of us and all of this goes credit to the experience of a student life in MMU. From campus life, from people you meet like Basri, in my case Basri, Azim, Amin, Farid, and those guys. Those are the type of experience that you can have. Your first breakups, your first love, everything in university. They're part of the process of life. This is what it is. I'm being as real as it is. This is how it is. I have nothing to hide. I'm just being transparent about how living is. Perhaps it's always great to and I mentioned earlier, like it's a pity that some of you have to have these classes online, but please, if you have that opportunity to enjoy your last years on campus, do it to the fullest. Life is short. It felt like it was yesterday, Kan Basri, but we're already turning already 35 this year. It felt like
And
a
that's
lot.
you. I'm 28.
Yeah, and this, goes by. It goes, like it is what it is. So, so that, I mean, for the parents who are trying to get their students to think which university they should go to, of course, I highly encourage Multimedia University. Especially if they're looking at the creative side. We have a very great film and animation unit now. Most of the best animations in Malaysia are from MMU students. Let's put it that way, hands down. So if you look for aspiration there for your kids, this is the place. Of course, don't force them. Let them make the choice. But this is what is available. VR. We have one of the best, probably the only facilities for that. Maybe soon there'll be more. And many other things. And don't just get your kids to look at university life as just for a piece of paper at the end of their tenure. Look at it as an experience where they can try many things. From being if you're gonna be a ID student, it's not just about crafting the interface design or interior design or of anything. It's about what are the moving components that will be preparing you for the real world. Project management, communication, blah blah blah, all that. You can do that. Look at those aspects. And along the way, if they don't enjoy it, it's not. We will not look down on you if you want to change your major. We had a few friends, Kan Basri, who changed majors, and it's fine.
Yeah, it is fine. Some of them, they change major and then they have to extend their years. So I think it's normal though. Again, the mistake that Zik highlighted just now, you can make mistake and learn from the process. So
yeah, and then they didn't see it as an embarrassing. And as a matter of fact, a lot of us were very go for it, man, because this is your future. This is life, man. Just go for it. Even if you have to extend, there's no shame about that at all. Zero. Yang pandai suka bully tu sebab dia jealous tu je. So just own that stuff, and then and you craft your own destiny. Not people's opinion. That's the way how I see it. So I hope they choose MMU, because me and Basri are alumni of MMU in this virtual conference, in this virtual time. Check.
Okay, Saj. It was very interesting session we had with you guys. Me and Nazri had with you guys, and
thank
we
you.
actually had fun. Of course, it's also informative for us and also the others lah. So Azri,
Yes, saya.
what do you have to say about all this?
Very well said. The anecdotes, the life lessons. Yang penting malam ni kita boleh
Party!
party. It's coming home. Satu.
No!
And the other
God.
is that SPM leavers can get a glimpse of what life in uni has made them to be where they are now. It's okay kalau ambil jalan lain. It's okay if you take a bit more time than others.
Betul.
Your own pace, your own pace. You still win at the end of the day. You're
Yang
not losing
penting
anything.
ambil jalan arah yang benar. Ala siratal mustaqim.
Betul. Okay, so maybe if the parents are still macam in doubt ke apa, maybe you guys can see our students' work, current students' work, dekat our
Doubt the parents back.
dekat our
Bobo.
Instagram, which
Instagram,
is
yeah.
Instagram, which is creative.mmu. So you guys can can check that out there.
Not only check it out, you have to follow as well.
Yeah,
Kan?
follow as
Check,
well.
follow,
And
subscribe, stalk, all of that.
Don't forget to stalk our two alumnus above. The
Yo.
Incitement co-founder and also the Incitement founder and also
Ooh la la.
creative director of Ulala Studio. You can check them out on social media.
yeah.
And also Incitement. Jangan lupa.
Yeah, betul.
All right.
So do we have any more questions to ask our panelists, or
I think the next time we'll be questioning you because you're looking for jobs, right?
oh no,
Yeah, this is
I'm ready. I'm ready to be grilled.
I think we overshoot this because I think we're supposed to do 1 hour kan. But thank you so much guys for
Thank
this,
you, thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you so much. It was
Really
very
appreciate for the invite though. And I look forward for the next, next session though, honestly.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to MMU for
Okay.
having us all here. And I'm sure everyone's ready to start their journey now. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a good
Okay.
night to everyone.
Thanks Azri. Thanks Juju. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Zura. Thanks, Rosani, Nani, Noni,
Good luck,
Azri.
England.